Hello, I think we're live. So, hello, if you don't know who I am, my name's Sophie Callahan. I'm an equine photographer and I've been doing Vlogmas. So this is Vlogmas day 6. If you haven't been watching my Vlogmas every single day from the first... Oh, apparently we just paused. Are you there? Someone give me a thumbs up or something if you can see me. I'm just going to carry on. So if you haven't been watching Vlogmas, that is a video every day from the 1st to the 24th of December. And today we're mixing it up a little bit and I'm doing a live Q&A. I did consider pre-recording this, but I just thought it would be a bit fun and a bit different to do it live. So thank you for joining me. I've written down some questions because a little while back when I was planning on pre-recording it, I asked for questions. So I'm going to answer those. So it's not technically a live Q&A as in I'm answering your live questions, although maybe we'll do that at the end. We'll see how we go. But I've not done live other than a really short promo video before, so we'll just see what happens. Probably my dog will bark, my boyfriend will come in from work, the phone will ring, but you know, we're just going to roll with the punches and see how we go. So the first question that I have written down here, I've got them all on my laptop and you'll sit up against my laptop, so if I'm really shiny, that's why. Who would be your absolute dream client or horse? I think Valegro. Everyone's going to say Valegro at the moment, aren't they? If I could photograph Valegro and Charlotte, life made. That would be incredible. If Valegro and Charlotte, if you're watching this and you want a photo shoot, just let me know. But also, other than that, if we're kind of scaling it down a bit, there's a horse called Logan Lucky Lad. If you are into colours or showing or anything, then you'll probably know him, and I am obsessed with him. I've told his owner I'm a complete fangirl for her pony. He's a coloured native and he's won at Hoy's maybe 3 or 4 times and he's just stunning. He's up in Yorkshire, I think, so perhaps one day I will go up there and I will photograph him. Michaela, again, if you're watching, let's sort it out. Have you ever photographed any naughty horses and how do you deal with them? Yes, lots. I mean, naughty horses, they're not naughty. I think it's really difficult. People expect their horses to know what to do, and I think that they think that I'm going to expect that. But they're horses, you know, I turn up, they have no idea who I am, what we're supposed to be doing, how they're supposed to be behaving. So you can call them naughty, I call it character. I mean, obviously there have been some shoots I've walked away and been like, that was tough. But I don't think there's ever been a horse that I absolutely couldn't get anything out of. You just keep things nice and calm, you're kind of guided by them. If they want to keep moving, if they're really fidgety, keep them moving, keep them walking. Walk away, walk back, walk in a circle, move to a new field, keep it kind of really quick and snappy, stand them for 2 seconds, get your shot and then move on. That's the best way I think to deal with fidgety horses. Kids ponies that try and eat the grass is always quite a challenge, but the best thing to do is keep them off the grass. If you can find hard ground, like a road or a lane or a yard, try and keep them away from the grass because there's just nothing you can do. The poor little kids can't hold on to them. Oh, hello, Rose. Oh, yeah, so you want to photograph Allegro too. Don't we all? Shall we organise it? Let's get in touch with Charlotte, shall we? And we'll all mob-handed go down to their yard. Right, do I have a horse of my own? No. At the moment, for the first time in my life, I am ponyless, which sucks. But I'm getting married next year, and after the wedding, hopefully I'll get another one. I sold my last horse a few years ago, and we've been saving to buy a house, saving for a wedding, all of the grown-up boring stuff. So at the moment I just have to cuddle everybody else's ponies, but next year hopefully I will have another one, and it will be patchy and it will be either a cob or a traditional or a native. I've just seen a good question, I'll save that for the end. Right, this is something that quite a few people have asked me. So when it came up in the Q&A recommendations, I thought I would write it down. Are you going to change your name or your business name when you get married? Yes, I'm going to change my name officially, so I will be Sophie Blinman, which is Blinman. No, I'm not going to change my business name. I've spent a lot of time and effort and energy building the Sophie Callahan photography brand, and it would just be crazy to change it. So, and also, I love my name, and as much as I'm excited to get married and to have Sam's name, it's quite nice that I get kind of the best of both worlds, because I get to have his name, but then obviously keep my maiden name for my business. So no, it will not be changing. What software do I use to edit images? I use Adobe Lightroom, but then if I've got something really detailed or extra that I want to do, I do use Photoshop. But 90% of my editing is done in Lightroom. That's a nice simple one. Who would you choose to photograph your wedding? We're having a photographer called Jack Lloyd, and he is Real Simple Photography, and he's awesome, and I'm really excited that we found him. So go and look them up. If when I save this video, I will pop a link in the description so that you can have a look at him. How do you relax a shy client? I've always said that one of the most exciting things, I've just made things smaller on my computer, so now I can't see my questions. One of the best things about photographing clients with their horses, so equine photography, is that they've got an inbuilt prop. So if you've got someone who's really apprehensive, really nervous, as soon as I say to them, it's not about you really, hi Ria, it's not about you, it's about your horse. He's going to be the star of the show. He's going to do all the hard work. All you've got to do is cuddle him and love him, and which you know how to do. They kind of relax, and they don't have to look at me. They can look at their horse. They can cuddle their horse. They can completely ignore the fact that I'm there if they want to, and that kind of really relaxes people. It just happens naturally without you even really having to do much. They always have something to do with their hands, which I know a lot of photographers in other genres really struggle with, something to do with their clients' hands. Obviously, they're holding their horse. They're holding their horse, they're patting their horse, they're cuddling their horse. So that's kind of it makes everything more natural, everything more easy. And the other thing I think is to smile and talk to them. If you talk and you ask them about their horse and you engage them in conversation, and you smile and laugh with them, literally within 5 minutes, most of my clients are laughing and kind of have almost forgotten that I'm taking their photo. Ria just waved at her screen. Oh, I don't know, that's something you should be admitting. Yeah, so that, I think once it's something that obviously comes with practice. The more shoots you do, the better you will get at relaxing your clients. But I'm a fairly laid back person anyway. I get there, we chat, we kind of have a look at the locations. So before we've even started, I kind of get to know them a little bit better. And really, it doesn't take long. 90% of my clients, by the first 5 minutes, are pretty chilled. And then by the end, we start off with the clothes they're most comfortable in, and by the end they'll be in their dress or whatever they're least comfortable in, and they're pretty chilled out. And most of them as well, just before we move on, say that they don't know what they were worried about. And sorry, I just keep thinking of more things to say about this. I know this is such a big thing for people, but so many of my clients think that they're the only one that gets worried. And honestly, all of those people that you see on my Facebook page that have had their shoots done panicked before their shoot. All of them, they all do it, and they all phone me going, oh my god, I haven't got this ready, I haven't got that ready, I thought I was going to be slimmer, I thought the weather would be better, I think my horse is going to be an absolute arse. Sorry, can I say arse? There's my video, I can say arse. Yeah, so they all panic, everyone's in the same boat, and everyone feels completely chilled by the end. So I don't know where we were, that was such a long answer. Right, this one says, I'd love to see a bit about the black background photos. I've seen a lot of bad setups and poor editing, and yours are always perfect. Thank you. So if I could ask anything, it would be for a run through, start to finish, on how you accomplish them. Okay, well obviously I can't do a run through right now, because I don't have a pony or a stable, and it's dark. But I might do a video in the future, like a tutorial, a how-to sort of video to show them, because that's a question I get a lot. Basically, to talk you through it, I put a pony in a stable or barn doorway, in the shade preferably, no sunlight, reflect the light off of the ground. If you've got like a concrete flooring or something, the light will naturally reflect off of that. And I take a photo, which usually the background's pretty much black or dark anyway. I pop it into Lightroom, I darken the background, and I do my ordinary edits. Good to go. It's so simple. It's one of the simplest shots that we take, but one of the most effective, and the one I get asked about the most. So I'll definitely set up a tutorial for that. So that will be coming probably in the new year, so watch out for that video. What kind of process do you go through in your shots at the session? Are there certain poses you do generally, or do you mainly spontaneously go with the flow with posing? I'm definitely a spontaneously go with the flow type of person. So I don't ever really plan much. I think that works the best, because I never know what the horse is going to be like. I never know what the clients want really until I get there and sit down and chat with them. I don't know what the location's going to be like, or the weather, or the light. So the first thing I do when I get there is we look at locations, because that's, once I've looked at locations, I can look at outfits and I can match them with the location. So if they've got heels, we'll put them on hard ground. If they've got flats or boots, we can stick them on the grass or the mud or whatever. So we look at locations and then look for light. Look for good light before you look for good location. If you find good light, a location will look good. So look for good light, and then we just get going, and I like it to evolve really naturally. So I'll put my client, I'll kind of give him a rough direction, like, okay, turn your horse sideways onto me and stand and face him head on. And then I'll be like, okay, see if you can get a kiss. If you can get a kiss between the eyes or on the nose without losing your teeth. And then they kind of, you'll find that they just move themselves. Once you've given them that one direction, they'll then kind of, one direction, sorry, oh dear, it's a little guilty pleasure. Yeah, then once you've given them that direction, they will then move themselves into position, and it kind of evolves from there really. And obviously I'm really guided by the horse, going back to what we said about naughty horses or fidgety, impatient horses. Thank you, Daisy, loving the live feed. Yeah, going back to impatient horses, if they want to be on the move, I'll keep them moving. If they're happy to just stand all day and be cuddled, brilliant. So that also kind of helps get their character in, because your owner knows their horse is a fidget. They know, you know, they're not under any illusions that their highly strung, high maintenance pony is gonna turn into an absolute angel. So when they look back over those photos and see them again, they'll be like, oh god, yeah, do you remember he wouldn't stand still? Or you know, so I think it all needs to evolve naturally. It totally depends on location, light, the temperament of the horse, how your client feels. If they're really nervous, then there's things I'll do to kind of pull them out of themselves a little bit. If they're really outgoing, then we'll have a lot of fun, and I'll really like throw them in head first as soon as we get started. Yeah, so it all evolves naturally, and it all depends on what I find when I get there. But I think the best way to do it is just to get there and see what I've got. And then again, it's something that comes with practice. The more you do, the more, literally, as soon as I drive up the driveway, I'm looking for locations, I'm working it out in my head what I'm going to do. I can see the images I'm going to take, and as soon as I meet the person, I kind of get an idea of how they're going to react to me and my camera. So yeah, it all just evolves naturally. Spontaneously go with the flow. That's pretty much my method. Do you start with ridden or ground shots? Again, completely depends. So some people, if we're going a long way, if we're walking to the location, I'll probably start with ridden, because they'll probably ride there. So it makes sense to get there and just get cracking with the ridden shots. If I can, I'll start with in hand, because once you put a hat on, if you're putting a hat on, or a saddle on, or whatever, or you know, you don't want your horse to start sweating up, you don't want hat hair. There's a lot more you can do in hand as well. So I usually, and it also depends on what outfit they want to ride in. So yeah, I feel like I've just answered it depends for all of these, but hopefully I've also given you a little bit of an insight into why it depends and what makes a difference to the decision. What camera do you use and what lens do you use? I use a Nikon D750 and a 70-200 f2.8 lens, and I don't switch. I know a lot of people love all their lenses and stuff, but I find that that works for me. I don't want to be switching lenses when I'm on a shoot and I've got a horse that's losing its patience. So that's pretty much it. I do have a couple of other lenses. I have an 18-200 and I really want an 85mm, but we shall see, perhaps in the new year. How many photos do your clients get? So in their final gallery, their deliverables, they get between, I always say between 80 and 120. Most of my clients tend to get more like 150. Some get more, some get less. It depends what we're getting. It depends. If we're just after like headshots and shots of them in the field, they'll probably get less because there's not as much to do. If they've got one horse, they'll probably get slightly less. If they've got, say, like 3 kids and 3 ponies, obviously they're going to get loads. So again, it depends, but yeah, roughly 120-ish. Someone, oh, I can't see your name, it's not coming up, but it says, you're my favourite equine photographer, I stalk you on Facebook and Instagram. Thanks. Keep stalking, I love it when you guys stalk me. Someone said why? Why what? It's not, your names aren't coming up very clear on here, and because you're kind of all the way over there, I can't really see it very well. Would you ever photograph at events or weddings? So I used to photograph. I started my photography career when I was 19, which is 10 years ago now. I can't believe that, that's crazy. In event photography. So I have done a lot of events. We used to own a event photography company called Big Image, and it was a national franchise. Me and my dad and my other half used to run it, and we had, I think, we ended up with 15 franchisees, so we were all over the country. We used to go up to Glasgow, and we used to do everything from dance events to black tie events to horse shows to football tournaments, everything. Like if there was an event, we would cover it. Obviously I used to prefer doing the horse shows, but no, I would never go back to it. It was fun and it was really worthwhile in terms of education and stuff for what I do now, but I would never go back to it. It was hard work. Like, I've written a blog post on why I think you should never steal, I mean, I don't think you should anyway, but you should never steal an event photographer's photos off of their website. Never screenshot them, please, 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 because they work so hard. They stand in those fields in no matter what the weather, all day long. They pay all those staff. They work really hard, and sometimes, I mean, sometimes the event's great and you know it's all good and everyone wins, but sometimes it's for really not very much, and I don't think people realise how hard they have to work for the money they get. So no, I would never go back to it. Everyone always says to me, you should really photograph horse shows. I'm like, no thanks, been there, done that. I absolutely, hats off, total respect to event photographers, because it's hard slog. I love what I do now. It's so much easier and so much more pleasant and artistic and creative. Or weddings, no. I've done a few, they're just not for me. I just can't deal with brides and the high pressure of weddings. I much prefer, I mean, if it rains, I reschedule. If it rains on a wedding, tough. You gotta go and you gotta make it good. So no, I like what I do. I've chosen to do what I do for a reason. No events, no weddings. If you weren't a photographer, what would you want to be? I don't know. There was never really any question. Once I decided I was going to be a photographer, that was it. There was no, what if I don't become a photographer? It was just, that's what I'm going to do. So I've never really put much thought into it. Probably if I had to choose now, if this all completely folded or for whatever reason I couldn't do it anymore and I had to choose something to do now, I would probably do something to do with social media or marketing, or social media marketing or something like that, because I really enjoy that side of this business, so I reckon I'd go into that. And my other half recruits social media marketing people and tells me they earn lots of money and keeps trying to get me to do it, so probably that. Oh, I missed one, hang on a minute. How do your clients know what to wear? I'm just going to move a little bit because oh, someone's cutting out the lycra show hood whilst watching this. Who's that going to? Anyone interesting? What colour is it? Right, so where was I? How do your clients know what to wear? So when my clients book, they all get access to my client area on my website. They get a login password, and that has lots and lots of information that isn't on my publicly accessible part of the website. So that's like what to wear, how to look for good locations. Oh, the lycra hood is gold, guys. That's pretty cool. Yeah, what to wear, what locations to look for, how to get their horse ready, how to get themselves ready in the run up to the shoot, just so that people kind of know what to expect. It gives them a little bit of advice. It stops them panicking, hopefully, although not really, because they all panic and ring me like a couple of days before going, oh, I'm not ready. But yeah, it just kind of gives them an idea of, I've got Pinterest boards, which you can go and have a look at. They're not private, they're just for anyone to look at, which have got lots of outfit inspiration and ideas, just to kind of make you think outside the box, really, because I think it's so easy for everyone to go, oh, do you know what, I haven't got myself organised, I thought I was going to be skinnier, I'm just going to wear jeans and a jacket. And really, there's quite a lot of options. When you look through my Pinterest board, there are some really nice ideas, and they might just make people think, oh yeah, actually I could wear that, I have that in my wardrobe and that would look really cool. So that's how my clients know what to wear. And then if all else fails, they can just send me a message and I will help them, or bring their whole wardrobe, which a lot of them do, and we go through it on the day, and I'll tell them what colours will look better with their horses, what will look better on camera, that kind of thing. Do you have Photoshop actions or Lightroom presets that you sell? Would you consider selling them to beginner photographers? I don't. I was really interested when this came through because I've never thought of doing that. I have Lightroom presets that I use, that I've created for myself, that suit my style, which has kind of developed over the years, but I have never thought of creating them to sell to other people. So no, not currently, but possibly in the future. Good idea. I can't remember who that came from, but good idea, whoever you are. When did you decide? When did you decide you were ready to take the leap and do equine photography as your full-time job? Any advice for someone who aspires to do this in the future? So, like I said, with the event photography question, I have been a photographer for 10 years. I started in event photography. Will you ever do equine photography business material? For starting American Midwest equine photographer, I would love some tips. Possibly, yes, that is possibly coming next year. Okay, back to what we were saying. Started in event photography. Then I had a studio. So I did studio photography and wedding photography. And then I found it, lots of you might know her, Emily Hancock. I'd been looking at her stuff for a long, long time. And I turned around to my dad and I was like, Dad, I'm bored of photographing football. I want to photograph horses. And he was like, well, we do horse events, but there's not loads of money in them. No one else enjoys them. It's a long day in a field. I don't think it'll work. And I was like, no, this is a different type of horse photography. This is, you know, private commissions, shoots of pretty girls in dresses at sunset with their ponies. Thank you, Alicia. So I showed him what I had in mind, and he was like, don't think it'll work. He was like, don't think there's enough money in it, but give it a go. And I was like, I tell you what, I will do some shoots with friends and friends of friends and stuff, see if it kicks off, see if it picks up. If it does, great, then I'll do less events, more of that. If it doesn't, at least I've tried, I've lost nothing. He was like, okay, brilliant, give it a go. It ended up going so well, so fast, that we ended up selling the event photography company about a year later, I think. And that was it. And I did for a long time, I still did events, equine events mainly. I still did weddings and family shoots and stuff, and it wasn't until about 2 or 3 years ago, I can't remember now, that I was like, right, every time I get booked to do a family shoot or something, I just don't enjoy it. I feel like I've built enough of a brand now to specialise. So I was like, right, that's it, I'm going to make this scary leap to say, no, I don't photograph dogs, I don't photograph children, I don't photograph families, I don't photograph weddings, I just photograph horses. That's what I do. I do it because I feel like that's what I do best. And if you want your horse photographed well, I will do that. If you want a family photographer, I will point you in the direction of somebody who does that well. So yeah, I just went for it. There's not really any like magic trick or anything or massive piece of advice I can give you. I think you just need to kind of feel when that's right for you and just go for it, because I think if you hold on to the other things, it's easy to kind of fall back on them and be like, oh well, I won't work quite as hard at the equine photography thing because it's fine, because at the moment I've got this going on. But if you commit and you are like, right, this is it, I'm not going to take anything else on, then you have to work hard at it, because that's all you've got. That's all you've got coming in. So you're forced to kind of be accountable. So if I had to give you some advice, that would be that. Right, I've completely lost where I am. What do you find is the hardest part about your job or running a small business? Doing everything, I think. You have to be, when you run your own business, a lot of you will probably have experienced this as well. You have to build websites, you have to do your marketing, you have to do your accounts, you have to do your orders, you have to do obviously the photography or the editing or whatever your product or your service is. You have to answer emails, send invoices. You have to do everything, and I am definitely not too proud to admit that I drop the ball, especially when it's summer and I'm really busy. I would love to have an assistant to do orders and just take some of the weight off of me, but I don't know that I'm quite there yet, but we will assess that in the new year, in the run-up to spring and summer, because last year I just could not, and the year before, both years I was like, I'm not going to take on as much this year, and then I end up taking on as much and dropping the ball, and things like orders go out late, and you know, that's not the service that I want to provide. But it's tough. You're running your own business, you're one person, and you're doing everything. My clients are amazing, and most of them kind of understand, and I send them emails to tell them, you know, I've been really busy, I am getting to it, and you know, they're lovely most of the time. But obviously I don't want to have to send emails saying, I'm really sorry, your order is here and I am sending it out this week, I just haven't had a chance to get to the post office, or I haven't had a chance to edit your photos yet, or whatever. I want to be able to keep on top of things. So I think that's the hardest thing. Like, you just suffer from burnout really when you're really busy and you have to do everything all yourself, and it just gets a bit overwhelming. I'm not complaining. I love my job, and I'm very lucky to be in that position. But it's tough. How do you get the best out of a shoot location, particularly if it's somewhere small with not much choice for attractive backdrops? Everybody seems to think that all my clients are at 5-star amazing yards with beautiful backdrops, but that's not the case. 95% of them are at ordinary livery yards, and it depends. It depends on what they want to do. Sometimes they'll walk out to like a local hacking route, or they'll travel to a beach or a country park. Or I've just realised I've been on for half an hour. I am wrapping this up. I'm getting to the end of these, but thank you for bearing with me. I can't believe I've been talking for so long. Yeah, so if they can't go anywhere else and we're absolutely stuck with what we've got, there is always something you can find, whether it's a wall or a hedge or a lane or a driveway, or even just the black background shots in the doorways of the barn or whatever. There's always something when you know what you're looking for. So again, it's just practice. You need to go to lots of yards, scout lots of locations, and you will find yourself spotting places, even in the most obscure places. But if we're really stuck and it's really bad, close-ups. Lots of close-ups, come in really nice and close to head and faces, and keep it nice and tight. Don't get too much backdrop in. That's all you can do when you're really at a loss. Where has been your favourite place to shoot? Where would you most like to shoot in the future? My favourite place so far was probably on top of a mountain in Wales. That was so beautiful with a castle in the background. That was really lovely. I was kind of like, I can't believe this is my job. This is really cool. Where would I most like to shoot in the future? Oh, I like the beach as well. Holcombe Beach, I love it when people book shoots up there. Where would I most like to shoot in the future? I don't know, really. I'd love to shoot abroad, like the Spanish horses or the French horses or something. That would be really cool. So I messaged my boyfriend before I did this and said, between around 5 and 6, I'm doing a live Facebook. Don't message me or ring me. So he's just sent me a message to tell me that he's got dinner. Great, thanks Sam. Yeah, abroad if possible. I'd love to go abroad. Do you have any advice for getting a great response on social media or building your client base through social media? Engagement. Getting your... I could talk about Facebook and social media marketing and stuff all day long, but my biggest piece of advice is to get your audience engaged. So ask them questions, get them to post their pictures, tag people in their photos, talk about your clients, be nice about your clients because they'll share it. Just things like that really kind of get your audience interested in what you're doing, and I think that would be my biggest piece of advice. But there's lots of advice about social media and building your business on my blog, so if you haven't been on there, check that out. And the last question on here is, who inspires you? So this is the only one I've written down notes for because I wanted to make sure I included these names. So I have to give a little shout out to my friends Kirsty Marie and Shelley Paulson, who are two of my favourite photographers. I love their work and I love the support that they've offered me and the friendship that they've offered me in our little group. So I just wanted to say hi to them. If you don't follow them, go and have a look at their stuff because it's incredible. I also watch a lot of Creative Live, which is a website for creative businesses. If you haven't looked at that, I would really recommend that. I follow Jasmine Starr, who's a wedding photographer, but I just love the way she does things. Her blog, her social media, she's a really cool person to follow if you're into photography. Some other photographers that I really love, Anna from Purple Horse, she's really great and really lovely. Tracy Robertson Photography. Karina, now I don't know how to say this, is it Mayvold? Karina Mayvold? I don't know, but I follow her on Instagram and she's absolutely amazing. So they are probably the people that I would literally, just off the top of my head, when I saw that question, I was like, oh, let me just write some down. They were the people that came up, or the websites that came up, or whatever. So yes, so that's all I've got here. Oh, the one question I was going to answer that came up on the comments here was, have you ever had anyone fall off? Yes, I have. I had somebody kicked in the head, which was bloody and nasty, and she was fine, but just does remind you that these are animals that we're working with, not robots, and they are unpredictable, and people ride without a hat at their own risk. I also had somebody fall off and their horse ran on the road back to the yard. That was quite scary. So yeah, it doesn't all go amazing. Oh, this year I had a horse fall over. They were just cantering around the field. It was a complete fluke accident and they were both fine, but the horse fell and rolled and just missed the girl by this much. So yeah, that was a great one to end on. I don't really know why I chose to save that till last, but yeah, I think it just proves that these shoots aren't as glamorous and amazing as they seem behind the scenes. A lot goes into them. They don't all go swimmingly, but you know, we hopefully get the results at the end. I don't know, I think that's it then. So if nobody else has got any questions, I've answered all the ones that I had planned to answer, and I think I've answered all the ones that came up as I've seen them. And I've also been talking for 35 minutes, so I think that that's probably enough of me for this evening. But if you have been watching my Vlogmas series, thank you very much. I hope that it's been somewhat interesting. It's about to get a lot more interesting, actually. So keep watching. It's on my YouTube channel. Just go to YouTube and type Sophie Callahan Photography or Sophie Callahan and it will come up. Or you can find it on my website. And I think that's about it. If you want to subscribe to it, I would love you forever and we can be best friends. And that's all really. So thank you very much for watching. I hope it's been helpful. I hope I've answered everything. I'll probably do another one of these, I don't know, next year at some point, if you liked it. Yeah, thank you very much. I will see you tomorrow for another instalment of Vlogmas. Happy Vlogmas! Thank you for commenting. Bye!